At Lifehack Coaching, we help women over 35 to balance hormones naturally, boost metabolism, and lose weight sustainably.
Hi everyone, today I'm joined by someone who truly embodies resilience and self-leadership, Karin. She is a mindset and growth coach, a published author, a motivational speaker, and also the creator of not just one, but two incredible wellness-focused ventures. One of them is Pedal for Hope, and the other one is One of Us, which is friendly swimwear brand. Her mantra is, she believed she could, so she did. And knowing Karin, she always does. And after hearing her story, you will know exactly why. Karin's survived breast cancer twice, which is incredible. She's solo mom of 3, and she's dedicated her life to helping people, especially women that going through chaos and overwhelm, and she helps them to go to clarity, confidence, and self-leadership. She integrates mindset tools, also psychology, healthy thinking strategies into everything she does. And today we are going to be digging into how that applies to women in perimenopause, wellness, and getting unstuck when life throws challenges. Hi.
Hello. So good to see you. We've known each other for many, many years, and I've been watching your journey and how you've pivoted and grew along these years and became a mom and inspiring coach, entrepreneur. Definitely, we've got a lot of alignment here with fitness, the love of fitness, and feeling good, looking good, and taking care of ourselves. So I'm honored to be here today. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for agreeing to join me. I saw one of your posts on social media about, the growth and mindset and leadership and the woman. I was like, oh, I should get you on my podcast and have a chat because, we're both in a space of helping other people. And I think we've both been here for a very long time.
Yeah.
So it would be good to have a chat. Anyway, so I've got a few questions to ask. All right. So let's just start with the first most important one. You've been through a lot and you've been through real and raw and hell and back. So what did you learn about your body and mind during the breast cancer journey? We'll go straight into it. that you apply now in your mindset coaching.
I'll start with the title of my book. I'm more than just my tits. And that incorporates everything that I am. I had to learn to love myself again after going through adversity. I had to find the strength that I thought didn't exist even because I didn't know it. I had to dig deep inside my self-love, my resilience, and understand that resilience is not about not falling apart. It's not about not throwing the towel once in a while. It's not about perfect. Resilience is about bouncing back. And unfortunately, I've had to deal with a lot of that, from losing my mom at a very young age, at 50 years old, from a heart attack. And that left a big scar, but also I had to do a lot of thinking because 50 years old is quite young. So what happened there? And learn from it. So it was a bit of a cloud over my head for many, many years. I just wanted to reach 50. And when I reached 50, I was like, okay, now what? I've got to make sure that I don't repeat certain, things that I've seen throughout my life and impacted my mom's mental health, overall health, and her relationships. So that was one obstacle I had to go through. But then, of course, breast cancer at 26, breast cancer at 40, and being through a volatile relationship has left a lot of scars within me, and of course the physical scars. And I had to find that essence. And fortunately enough, I grew up in I wouldn't say like a strict home, and I learned to get up and move quite quickly. That was the mentality in my house. We've got a little bit of a similar background, I think, from East Europe, and having that toughness in us. And what do you mean, like mental health in a way? Like, what do you mean? Like, you just got to keep going, got to find the solutions. You've got to find your way and solve the problems, right? So this whole new era of mental health, burnout, premenopause, premenopause, postmenopause, menopause, like it's a whole new world, but people are talking about it. So it's really, really important to cover these topics because it's real and raw, as you say. So learning to navigate through challenges become, I guess, something that I can be proud of. It's not that I say, yes, thank you, cancer. Yes, thank you for this that happened in my life or that scenario. But at the end of the day, when you learn your strength, your superpowers, and you put them into practice and you read and you educate yourself and you learn what you're good at and what are your strengths, then you can slowly bring back yourself to, I call it, to life. And it's not about being perfect and it's not about just being strong all the time. It's about knowing that things are temporary, you navigate through them, you rise up, you'll fall again. And unfortunately, the more you practice that, the more obstacles will come because you're growing.
Yeah.
And it can be tiring, even exhausting to an extent. And yes, you learn that in the darkest days, you find your strength. And I know that when we're in that dark space, we sometimes cannot see it. So I learned that along the way. I'm 52 now. I've been through menopause throughout my cancer journey because of chemotherapy. And I removed my ovaries due to the risk of getting ovarian cancer and carrying the BRCA1 mutation. So it all created a very early menopause for me. And when I hear my friends talk about it, I say, well, I've gone through if you can imagine the speediest roller coaster in the world, that is what I've gone through with menopause. And I'm happy that I removed my ovaries and I'm tackling it every day. And of course, there is still residue because estrogen still is being produced in my body, but not in a high level, which creates other issues like bone density and all that. We can talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. It's crazy, isn't it? It's interesting, like you mentioned about growing up in Eastern, Europe and having upbringing that mental health didn't exist. In a way, it's good. It's created toughness in us, right? Like we're like, what do you mean you feeling sad? Like, what are you sad about? Like you've got food and shelter and happy family, like get over it.
Yeah.
But in the other way, because there was no education about it at all, when I went into perimenopause and I started experiencing anxiety and panic attacks, I didn't know that such a thing exists. So when I went to hospital a few times with panic attacks, thinking I was having a heart attack, and they were checking everything like, oh my God, she's having a heart attack. And then the old Asian doctor came in and he was like, you're having panic attacks. And I'm like, I don't get stressed. What do you mean panic attacks? What is this thing? Like, there's no way I'm so tough. Like, there's no way I'm having panic attacks. There's no way I'm ever gonna have anxiety. And that was a roller coaster for 2 years. And I think because I would not admit to myself that I had mental health issues. And that's, I guess, in a way, was good to growing up, being tough and everything. But on the other hand, if I knew that thing existed and it's real, maybe I would have helped myself earlier. But it took me like 2 years in that journey of getting my iron to the right level so I'm not having those heart palpitations, working with psychologists, doing MDRs for 2 years. Like there was a long journey. And in a way, like, yeah, that's cool. It's good to be tough. But in the same way, it would have been nice to have a little bit of education about anxiety and panic attacks and depression and all the things that do happen with perimenopause and menopause and midlife that a lot of women going through.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think you touched on the right on spot because that's the pain point is when do we seek for help? What, like, are we going crazy? There's sometimes, at home, I've got 3 girls, so hormones are going crazy. I'm, menopause while the other ones are going through other, adolescence, hormones, roller coasters. And they go, why are you like this? Like, what happened? And, there's the external forces and the internal forces. And, nowadays, and we've got a choice, okay? We've got a choice. How do we want our life to be? Do we want to work the 9 to 5 and be at the office? Or do we want to be an entrepreneur? And everyone's talking about you can work from anywhere. And there's all this pressure of you can be free. You can be free. And this whole freedom thing. And, well, you've got kids and you've got to put food on the table. And there's other stresses, like reasons to stress, like relationships and personal relationships and your friends and social media and all of that. And we all need to kind of portray the perfect woman. And I think the more we're going to tune into the raw and authenticity, and you can share it either online, but you can share it with just friends or family member that won't judge you and you feel safe in that environment, then you can reach out for help. And I've worked, along the way with professionals, whether it was in sales or it was in marketing jobs that I did, but also now as a coach, as a public speaker, I come across people from all walks of life. And behind the scene, or when they want to talk to me one-on-one, they tell me what's going on. But outside, we don't always see this. And so we portray this kind of, again, the perfect life, the perfect woman that does everything. And I relate to something that Dr. Libby wrote once. She wrote a book, she published it. It's called The Rushing Women Syndrome. It's exactly that. We're rushing. We're always, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? So it's a choice how we want to live our lives. What do we want to portray? What is that balanced life? Is there anything like work-life balance really when you're a full-time mom and a businesswoman, or working in a corporate job, corporate space, or whatever you're doing, as even just as a mother at home? It's the biggest role ever. I always say it's like I'm running a huge corporation, and I'm not proud of this. I stopped being proud in saying, oh, I've ticked all my to-do lists. It's just unrealistic. And I think this is where we need to start. We're going through our hormonal changes with our menopause, premenopause, menopause, and so on, and maturing. Everything changes. It's our attitude. It's the way we see life and the way we want to live life, versus what we were kind of told that we need to do. And so we go through that too. There's the midlife crisis, right? Like, what is that? Oh, suddenly I want to do something else. And you see these women just trying to find themselves. But they're there. We're all here. We've got our superpowers. We've got our strength. We've got the hormones is a very important thing. You touched on it. Go and seek support. I actually had a client today who texted me to say, I finally went to get some supplements. I'm going to sort myself out, because we sometimes don't know where to put the finger on, and it can be really confusing, and you think you're going crazy. So it's the menopause, it's the burnout, it's the lifestyle, it's holistic. You do a lot of the fitness and the losing weight and leading women into a better health state. I look at it holistically like that. Are you doing your fitness? What are you doing in terms of your everyday routine and habits? And what are your thoughts in your head? And just remind people that you're not going crazy. You're just going through changes, and respect it, acknowledge that, and talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. And so, like lots of women in perimenopause, especially in menopause, I find perimenopause and menopause a little bit different. I feel like when I work with women that go perimenopause, they're like, what the hell is going on? Right?
I'm too
They
young
still
for
don't
this.
know.
I'm too
They
young
kind of,
for this. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And the bodies are fighting. Like I find it so much harder to work with women that in perimenopause, but once they hit menopause, it's kind of like the whole thing changes. The mindset shifts, the body suddenly shifts, it cooperates. It's like they go, okay, I'm going to release this now. Now I know what's happened. I'm done. I'm going to release. And then the weight loss happens too. So, and that's why I'm talking about the perimenopause, because I find it's more challenging because there's not enough education about it, and women feel like they're losing their mind. I felt like I was going crazy.
Yeah.
And I was freaking out. I even remember when I first was going through it, I was too scared to be at home with my kids without my husband, because I was like, I'm going crazy. What if I'm crazy? Like, what if I'm actually crazy? And I remember saying to my friend who's a psychologist, I'm like, what if I'm in psychosis? And she was like, you wouldn't be saying that. You wouldn't even think that you might be if you are. I'm like, okay. She was like, it's just anxiety. I'm like, okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. But anyway.
Absolutely. I really admire you for opening up this way, because I've thrown the towel a few times, and I, wanted to just take it all out. You just don't know. And for me, it was different than other women who go through it naturally, I guess, and through a process. For me, as I said, it was a roller coaster. And I see a lot of women that just have no information about it. They're really scared. There's a lot of fear of judgment. And especially if you're in a relationship, how do you convey that, and what are you saying? How do men actually respond to this at home? home. I had to deal with cancer, with all that, but dealing with that, and the children, and your workspace, your workplace.
Mm-hmm.
Many women, someone at work might say, what's wrong with her? Why is she
Yeah.
crying? What's going on? Like,
Yeah.
they don't even have the tools. And I always say, invite people like ourselves who work with women that can actually be that safe space for them, even once
Yeah.
a week, to go in and let it all out and send you into the right hands of a therapist or a doctor, whatever it is that you need that will help you. And I think you touched on that clearly, that there is not enough information. It's starting to come up now and people talk about it.
Yeah, yeah. So because you work in that space, you help with leadership, with self-leadership, especially with women in middle life. So how do you do it? What do you do? How do you help them?
I think that there is no one program that fits all. That is one thing to remember. People are selling us a lot of programs now online. I've got my own programs, but at the end of the day, first and foremost is listening to the person, what they're going through, what are their obstacles, trying to identify what is happening. I coach mindset first. So even if I work with a businesswoman, an entrepreneur, a lawyer, a doctor, I had a client who's a doctor, she's a GP. At the end of the day, we're all unique and we go through our own journey with our own obstacles. You might go through the same obstacle as me, but our reaction is different. So it's really important to understand the belief systems that people come with, to understand what is their goal at the end of the day. What do you want? And how to actually keep people afloat. It's not always about fixing the problem. We are not magicians, coaches, psychologists, anyone who works with professional or any person, any people from all walks of life. Okay. It's not a magic stick. You got to work through things. But the one thing I believe is that when there's a will, there is a way. And if someone really wants to come to this space, share their obstacles, their challenges in life, it's very private. You've got to remember that. And I slowly peel the layers. And what do I do the best, I think, is ask the right questions. And I call myself a mindset disruptor because there's one question, for example, that I keep on asking people: is this true? When you feel something and it's happening to you and you think it's happening to me. No, it's happening for you. But let's go deeper. Is it true? And what does that truth actually say about the situation and how you feel? So it's a bit of it's a navigation system, and it can take 6 weeks for someone to have a transformation. It can take 3 months for someone else. It can take a whole year for another person. Again, there's no one system that works for everybody. You and I, who studied a little bit of psychology, I've done a diploma in counseling and psychology last year. You read through, you see that there's so many different disciplines. And this is why you might go to a psychologist one day, or a coach, or a mentor, or a friend across the road, and have a coffee and get it all sorted. But you might go and change and try to find the right fit for yourself. So it's really important to first understand if there is a connection here, if there is a fit. Can I really help this person? Can I really take them on this journey and be super brutally honest with them? And they will absorb, and they will come in with that real want and desire to change something within themselves. And then you find the game changers. You can take it into health. You can take it on and implement it in relationships, in career. People say life coaching. Well, I go mindset. Let's disrupt it. Let's ask the best questions that will help you at the end of the day. And that, I believe in this 100%. It's on you as a patient, as a client. You have to put in the work. And so no matter what programs and systems, sometimes people come to me, give me the best system you've got. It's not going to work if you're not going to put the effort. And sometimes there's just no alignment. So your method will be different to another coach, and they might resonate with it, they might not, and that's totally fine. So I think asking questions, the right ones, disrupting that mindset, understanding people's individual goals, where they want to go, what they want to achieve, what are their expectations in terms of period of time, especially when you talk about losing weight, for example. I've done that to 3 children. I've gone through the menopause and all of that, and I'm going through my hormonal change, and people talk about this and that. And how do you do it, Karin? Well, consistency is the key. Understanding, learning, reading, but really putting priorities in place, the non-negotiable, not having excuses. It's on my wall here. Excuses don't bring results. And
Love
to
it.
be honest, I'll tell you a secret, okay? I sometimes have excuses too. But the thing is, I know how to be accountable for my own faults or not doing something. And, we sign up for things and we go, oh, it's not working. But have I put in the work? Have I put in the work? Or is there alignment with this? So priorities, asking the right questions, goal setting, mindset work, understanding belief systems, understanding the game changes, and what is it that you really want, and how do you see your life with that happening for you, with the good stuff coming for you, rather than focusing on the problem and why is it happening and why is it happening again, because something must not work when it keeps repeating itself, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And what I found is more and more people, or women specifically, they're actually reaching out for support now. It's becoming more normal to hire a coach or have a therapist or have someone to work with, which is fantastic because I don't know, I find that I don't know if it's just me or stage of life or if it's just because we moved from where we used to live. I don't know. But it's harder to have close friendships. That's what I found. And I don't know, like I found I get different friends, but they're normally based around either what business I have or what school my kids at or what kindy or who my kids' friends' mums are, whatever. But it's not the same how it used to be. And so you have to have someone to talk to, right? And if you're constantly changing people around you and you don't have that one friend, like I still got friend from Russia that we've been friends for, God, 33, 34, 35 years now. We still talk nearly every day, and she knows more stuff than anyone else, and I will tell her, but I wouldn't tell anyone else. But then to offload it, you need to work with someone.
Yeah, it's that trust that you need to have with someone, and it's the consistency of relationship. And there's no village anymore either. So
No.
right?
Yeah, that's what I found.
That's really
Yes.
important. There's no village. Where in New Zealand, how many immigrants? There's so
A
many
lot.
immigrants. And, we are Kiwis. We bring the best of our wisdom and abilities to this country. And we're Kiwis first. At the same time, we don't have that support network that a lot of our Kiwi friends who've been born and bred here have got. So it creates this void, and you're trying to fill it in with, occasionally it will be the mom from school, and then you're her friend, for a few months or years or whatever, and then they move schools, and it's that consistency, that trust that is lacking. And I think that what I found with coaching, you must have it too, I believe, is that we become friends. And
Yes.
it's just amazing that a client can just, I don't see that this way. And I know that a lot of people have boundaries with clients, and we do need to have that, because you can't be on call 24/7. But I'll give you an example from a client that went through cancer, and I followed her journey for a very long time. At first as a program to support her. I'm not a cancer, oncologist. I give it to the professionals, but the emotional roller coaster that she's gone through.
Yeah.
And we became so close. And then, of course, it just became me as a friend supporting her throughout until now. And it's been the most humbling experience. When she said it actually saved my life, because I couldn't share, so emotional when I say that, I couldn't share that with anyone else, Karin. You just got it. You got it. Like, there's no judgment. You get it. And we were laughing as well. And I would call her on the way to a night out, and she was in hospital, and we would laugh about it. And, it just became something quite different. And I love these relationships that are authentic, they're real, and they might, evaporate one day. We don't know. We hope that our relationship with people will last. But, you and I have known each other for so long. I don't even know, like, so long.
16 years?
probably 15. Yeah, 15. Yep. And so
2010?
yeah,
Yeah, 2010.
2010. Yes, 2010.
Yes.
And I mean, look at us. Like, where are we? And we came from different directions and different activities and, hanging out with different people. And it all
Mm-hmm.
changed. But the essence of the relationship, the respect, the need to help each other, the will to help each other more than the need, even there's the will, the respect is there. And it will always be there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
хорошо,
definitely.
хорошо.
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely think like we need a village, right? And if we don't have a village, then you need to get support
Yeah,
from professional because we're bound by confidentiality, right? So which means that people know the things they say to us,
yeah,
it's not going to go anywhere. So there's
absolutely.
a security in that too by giving us information that it's not going to leave that
Mm,
appointment, right? Like we're not
absolutely.
going to go and talk to anyone about it or gossip or anything like that. And I think that's the biggest fear for a lot of people right now is that everything is on social media, everything is online. There's
No
no
boundaries.
hiding.
Yeah,
There's no boundaries, there's no hiding, there's no, I don't like word keeping secrets, but sometimes you just don't, if you have a friend, you don't want
of course.
them to go and talk about different things as other people about
Mm.
you. So I don't know. It's just, yeah. So I think, yeah, it's important to have that village or have that support or someone to talk to about your personal growth, your goals, your health, your nutrition, or whatever. Or even if it's simple as like, I feel like I'm losing my mind or I lost direction, because that's like middle life crisis, right? And that starts about 35, 40, where you're trying to review your life and go, where am I going? Like, what do I actually want from this? Like, what's my direction? And that's why
I
so many
still
people
don't
change their
know.
careers.
No, I'm joking. I still sometimes I go, where is it going? Where is it going? Like, so what are you doing right now, Corinne? I get these questions sometimes. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm helping people. I always help people. It
Helping
doesn't
people,
matter.
always help people.
Always helping people. So I think you're so right. It's that time, 35, 40, 45, and then you reach 50. And I think it's the
And you
most
feel like,
beautiful period of my life is actually not really caring about what people think about what I'm doing, because for many years we have to stick to what's we're supposed to do.
yes,
And I try to tell my children, be who you really want to be. Yes, it's important to maybe finish your exams or not. My eldest struggled at the last year of school and I had to kind of navigate that. And it wasn't that template that I had when I was young at home. I had to finish
yeah.
school, get the grades, go and do what I needed to do, go to uni, but
Mm-hmm.
nowadays, the next generation, look at them, they're totally different. And you were touching
Yeah.
on social media and being on one hand transparent, on the other hand being confidential. Absolutely, that's the first thing I send is confidentiality agreement, because if someone wants to share, I've got some clients who are so amazing, they keep on posting things on Instagram, but most of them will not, because they'll
Yeah.
send a review and I'll use their initials usually or just the first name, but a lot of them do want to share it so other people will know
Yes.
that, one, it's
Yes.
legit to ask for help, but two, here is my transformation, this is why I
Yes.
keep on going back to Corinne. And with your coaching, you might find that people stay for a certain period of time, then they take a break, then they come back because there's another step to take. There's always steps and we're growing. And
Yeah.
there's different points in our lives where we need help and we don't have the village, and
Yes.
times where we just navigate on our own and go crazy.
Yes, and that too.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, no, it's funny. You said, still don't know what I want to do. I just want to help people. I remember being maybe high school, maybe like 14, 15, and everyone were like, oh, I want to be dentist. I want to be doctor. I want to be engineer, whatever. And like, what do you want to be, Anastasia? And I'm like, I don't know. I want to be maybe stylist. And they're like, what do you mean stylist? I'm like, well, I want to change how people look and feel. And then I moved on from that and I went to uni, studied some random stuff. Just
yeah.
it's a long story why I went to uni and what I studied. I studied religion, okay?
Oh, wow. I've got a
It's
friend who actually has a master's, I think, in religion studies. So
it's
cool.
really random. It's a long story why I went to study this. I could have gone to something else, but I kind of wanted to piss my parents off. And so I rebelled, okay? I don't know why I did it, but that's what I went to study. It was like study religion and cultures
Yeah.
around the world.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing, though.
Random. It was interesting. It was interesting. Useful? No, not in any way. Okay. But we are here now. And I feel like with all the different businesses that I had, they were all about changing people's lives. Like, yes, I want, like, as a 14-year-old, 15-year-old, I said I want to be a stylist because I didn't know what it is that I wanted to do, what it means. But now I see the meaning. It's like helping people to be the best version of themselves, either through business coaching that I'm doing a work for Two Brain Business, or through helping women to be healthier, lose weight and things like that through my business, Perimenopause
Yeah.
Health and Life Coaching. But it is, right? No matter what we do, it's still helping people to be best version of themselves.
100%. I mean, it's everything that I've done. I've talked to a recruiter the other day. In recruitment, we were talking about some interesting roles within companies, and I said, I'll just sum it up for you. I'm here to help people. Like, even if when I sold
That's it.
property, I came from a place of, I want to help you move on with your life, whether it's to sell or to buy. Whether I was in recruitment for nearly 5 years, and headhunting. It's all about helping. That's how I kind of tuned into coaching more and more. And of course, with the Pedal for Hope and the Pedal on Cancer Rehabilitation Program, which I co-founded, that was all about helping people navigate through their cancer journey. And it was probably the most humbling experience ever to pedal with cancer patients and to fundraise for cancer rehabilitation. That, by the way, is not funded by the government and in many countries, unfortunately. So it was always something that led me. And I remember even as a child, putting my hand up, I'll help, putting my hand up for the decoration, for the committee, for the board, for whatever.
Overachiever.
Yeah. So, connecting between people, creating communities. At the end of the day, I've just, this year established Horizon, which is a women's workshop series. The first one was money mindset, and the upcoming one is all about burnout. And we're bringing in Katie Boyd and another amazing wellness advisor from Tend, Emmy Peters. So another entrepreneur and someone from the sports industry, fitness.
Very cool.
Got to look at it holistically. And we want to build communities. You're building communities of women, ambitious women, strong women. Everyone's got strength in them. We just got to find it. Okay. You're not losing yourself even when there is a big challenge. You're actually discovering who you are more than anything, in my perception. So having that mindset, I think some people are probably born with some set of skills that allow them to be that kind of person and to think this way. But a lot I give to our reaction along our life and how we react to obstacles that we've had to overcome. And sometimes it worked for us, sometimes it didn't, but we're learning. Yes. So if you see it as a learning opportunity, everything that you go through, and keep working with people that want to work
with you
on themselves. I think, we talked confidentiality, we talked about challenges, we talked about mindset, body, mind. It's all together. At the end of the day, always comes down to, do you want to make a change? Are you going to give yourself the opportunity to work on it? And there's no quick fixes. We talk about it a lot. There's no quick fixes.
No.
Right?
Exactly. No.
Building a business, it's not in 2 days. Yes, some will have an exit in 6 months with $80 million, but the majority of the people will fall, get up, and go through it, and as long as it takes.
Exactly. And that's as well, like when I work with the potential clients or when I have consultations, I don't invite everyone into my program, because if I don't believe that I can help them, if I don't believe that we are suitable fit for each other, I'm just not going to talk about what's the next steps, because I know I can help them. I'd rather refer them to someone who can, and I can't, like if I can't. And that's okay. It's okay knowing your boundaries, understanding who you want to work with, who you don't want to work with as well. So, and I think this is what you do as well with your coaching, is you help people find that what they should be doing, like what their next steps are and where they, how to move forward and unlock their true potential, right? That's what you do with your coaching.
I mean, for me, it's about moving forward. And I always say that the amazing thing about coaching is very different to going to a therapist for years and years and floating all these things up the surface. I'm very practical. I am a problem solver. I am a mindset disruptor. Now, sometimes it can sound really brutal and scary, but at the end of the day, it's honesty and transparency and actually doing the mahi. It's about finding your essence, your superpower. I always start with asking a client, no matter if it's a business or not, write about who you are. I've got it here. People go and, it's going to take me, like, I can do this. I've had people that it took them 2 weeks to actually get pen to paper or write on their computer. And some of them write 5 pages, because who you are is not just what you do for work. It's not just the fact that you're married with 3 kids. It's not just that. It's a lot under the surface. It's your upbringing. It's your languages. It's every skill that you bring in. And how do you want to contribute to this world? And then you start working on the person you want to become. And then you need to break it down in reverse engineering. And you can do reverse engineering for business and numbers, and you can do it for yourself too, because you've got people ask
definitely.
to what you just said, what's the next step? I just want to know what's the next step. And I go, do you
What
know
do I
what
need
the
to do?
next
Tell me.
step? The next step, you've got to start from here, like right on the top of who you want to become.
Yeah.
Then you break it down, and you break it down to the most smallest increments, little tiny little to-do lists. And it's hard work sometimes, and you might get resistance from someone and they might not do it, but I'm here, you're there to hold people's hands along the journey as long as they want to do this.
Yeah.
And as you say, you've got to be super honest. If there is something, it's like you go to a lawyer or a doctor and they go, oh yeah, we can have you. Yeah, come and be my client. It doesn't work like this, because it's the reputation. It is the caring element that you carry with these people. You know, you're dealing with people's lives at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We've got to remember this, okay? It's very precious. The most precious thing is their heart and soul and their mind and their body.
Yeah.
And so we've got to be super transparent, honest, and go, listen, we've tried, it doesn't work. Or here, I think you need to see a physician for this, and you need to see a nutritionist for this, and take it to the next level, and then come back to me and let's work on things when things are more balanced. Or, you know, or you feel like there's resistance and it's just not the right energy is good for me. I'm like, I've got a great coach that deals, with the specific issues. Why don't you go and see them? So you gotta be that person at the end of the day. You've got a lot of responsibility, and it doesn't matter, how many hundreds of certificates you're gonna have. At the end of the day, I give it to experience, to a lot of intuition, to the fact that you do keep on learning and developing yourself. And at the core of it is exactly what you said, is helping others be the best version of themselves. It's not going to be 100% sometimes perfect, because it's not about perfect. I learned it with my body, and that's the biggest lesson for me, to be honest, but scars are beautiful, and you learn to love them, and the same is our health and mental health and well-being. So don't be hard on yourself. I always, if there's a message I can portray here, is don't be hard on yourself. Always think about what you're going to say to your best friend across from you if she comes or he comes with, I'm going crazy, with problems. So no,
that's good. Well, thank you so much for joining me here today. I know you're a busy lady and you have to go, so thank you so much. Share some of your details in the YouTube and the posts and stuff like that. So if anyone wants to reach out to you, what's your website?
KarinHoren.com. But the best way to reach out to me is actually online on Instagram and LinkedIn. LinkedIn is very active right now. Instagram, you can get a lot of content, or email me through the website, Karin Horen and z@gmail.com. I'll try to answer as quick as I can. I'm delighted that we finally have gotten through this and recorded this today. It's fantastic to see you. You're looking great.
Oh, you're looking great. I always look at your pictures on social media. I'm like, oh my God, this woman just look amazing. She is just lifting the standards for every woman.
You. Well, I think, if I'll touch on that quickly, people talk about fake it till you make it, right? And I don't believe in this. I believe in manifesting actively. And you've got to act, you've got to speak and dress up and do whatever you want to do for yourself, makes you feel good. And so the fact that someone is dressed up or looking amazing and their skin's like flawless or whatever it is, it doesn't mean that everything is going 100% in their lives, right?
No one has 100%.
People like myself will sit down at a fancy hotel drinking coffee that cost me $6. I feel amazing when I do that, right? So I'll sit there and I'll catch up with a friend or a colleague or someone, around business or whatever it is. And you just sit there and you actively manifest the fact that you are
Mm-hmm.
surrounded by this beautiful environment.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what it's
Yes.
all about. It's just actively living that life that you really
Yes.
want to embrace, And at the end of the day, I come home, take off my clothes, the fancy schmancy, the smile, and I go, okay,
Take it off, done.
job's done. I go to sleep, I read a book, I put the phone away and cuddle with my kids. That's it.
Yeah, perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much.
If you have any questions about this podcast or about hormones, weight loss, or just healthier lifestyle, please go to our website at lifehackcoaching.co.nz or feel free to email me directly, Anastasia at lifehackcoaching.co.nz.